Good morning, everybody. I'm so happy you're here with me. I am with Rose today, who is going to talk to us about her transition from classroom teacher to project manager. Hey, Rose, I'm so happy you're here with me today.
Hi, Cindy. I'm happy to be here with you today, too.
Tell me, everybody would love to hear your story out of the classroom. So, how did it start?
So I don't have one of those linear paths like a lot of people have. I got out of teaching back in January, a couple months ago.
So just to
Um,
let everybody know, it is currently August. So
yeah,
because when I don't know when you might be watching this, but it's currently August when we're recording.
right. So a couple months ago, back in January, I got out of teaching. I thought it was an awesome opportunity that I was being given, something that was definitely outside of my wheelhouse that I thought would challenge me. And it was a little bit off the beaten path. I was asked to help manage and run a food truck. And I was very excited, but also a little cautious. And unfortunately, that opportunity kind of fell through, and the business owner decided to close the business. It was at that point that I had, obviously a choice. I'm out of work. Do I go back to teaching, or do I continue to forge forward and put myself back out there to look for jobs outside of teaching? And I decided I didn't want to go back to teaching. I enjoyed so many things about working in a profession that was outside of the classroom that I knew that I needed to continue to forge forward. And then that kind of led me to found you. I started doing a lot of self-discovery, but also like a lot of research on where I wanted to go next and how I wanted to utilize those skills that I had developed as a teacher.
Wow. I remember how difficult that was, that you
Yes.
found this opportunity, like, okay, I got out of the classroom and it happened quickly and it was easily, and then all of a sudden that fell through almost as quickly as it started.
Right. And it seemed like magical that this opportunity came to me, but then it ended up not being what I thought it would be.
So where are you now? Let's share with everybody.
So I have been with Junior Achievement of the Space Coast for about a month. We're a small regional office of JAUSA, which is a part of over 99 regions in our JAUSA, but JA is actually a global nonprofit organization.
And what is your title?
My title is Hope Project Manager. I'm officially a program manager for JA, but the Hope Project is something that is local to our regional office. And what I do specifically is I work with two local high schools in our district, and I am on campus 2 days a week. I provide student support and teacher support for bringing our programs into the classroom. And if you're not familiar with Junior Achievement, we are a company that provides programs and curriculum and connections with business owners. And our focuses are workplace readiness, um, financial literacy, and entrepreneurship. So my main
Cool.
goal is to make sure that we're setting students up for success in their future careers.
How cool. You are doing what so many teachers who want to leave the classroom want to do, which is still make a difference in students' lives, still have an impact in education, but not have all those in the classroom things that everybody is really trying to escape.
Yes.
What is life like now as opposed to the way it was when you were in the classroom?
So I have a lot more autonomy over my day and over how I approach the tasks that I have to do for work. There's a lot of freedom in not having students in front of you for the majority of your workday,
Oh, for sure.
because you can actually see a task through from start to finish. You can actually decide what part of a project you're going to work on or do. So I still have, like, much like a teacher, I still have a lot of different facets to my job, but I feel like I have the time and the support to get them done. For example, I had, kind of a task that was reaching a roadblock, and I reached out to my direct supervisor, and she was like, if we have to take this off your plate because it's too much, we can take it off your plate. And those are words I've never heard from a supervisor in the teaching world. It was always adding more, adding more. And so it was just very refreshing to feel heard and feel supported.
We were talking a couple minutes ago before we started the camera, and you were talking about how you were given an extra day off this week and how amazing that was. Let's talk about some of those things.
Yes, so we had a board retreat last weekend, which is something that I was experiencing for the first time. I got to stay in this beautiful hotel in St. Augustine, Florida, that I've literally dreamed about staying in for many, many years. As a Florida teacher, we would go to St. Augustine for field trips every year, and I would look at that hotel and I'd be like, I just want to stay there one time. Fast forward to last weekend, and I'm sending my, former coworkers pictures of the inside of my hotel room, like, guess where I am? So it was amazing. But part of the retreat was that we had to work on Saturday, and it was only about half a day. And as we were leaving, both of my supervisors urged me to make sure that I put on the calendar which day off I'm taking, for the next week to make up for the fact that I worked on a Saturday. So
Unheard of in the teaching
yeah,
profession. You worked an extra half a day on the weekend and you get a full day off during the week.
yeah,
How does this make you feel about your transition?
just so good. I mean, I don't even know what words to describe. I'm so much less stressed. I feel valued. At the board retreat, we have 49 board members now. Only about half of them were there at the board retreat, but just board members from all different walks of life coming up to me and thanking me for what I do and giving me accolades for the impact that I've already made in just a month and things like that. It's a value that I've never truly felt at work before. And like I said, I don't know what words to put into it. I'm just kind of in awe.
I hope that you feel that feeling all the time. Just review what that feels like in only 1 month to be recognized by so many people.
Yeah,
Pretty incredible. Pretty
it's very
incredible.
incredible.
So let's talk about getting here. What was it like with you and I working together?
I think one of the biggest things that I realized I needed, like I said, after that other job fell through, I was reaching in a lot of different directions for as much free help and advice as I could find on the internet, because it's out there, but it was just taking me in too many directions. And it was becoming more overwhelming than helpful. And I knew I just needed that like guidance. And I think as I think through what my experience was with you, one of the most valuable parts of that was that you really got to know me. I felt like you knew me after our discovery call,
I
not
do.
even the first meeting. And that was just instrumental because instead of just like popping me into where every other transitioning teacher was trying to go with the same resume that every other transitioning teacher was using, you really got to know who Rose was and you helped Rose find the role that was perfect for her, speaking in the third person, but that can apply to anybody that you're working with, I feel like, because I looked on job boards I never would have found. And I was really led to realize that I needed to work for a nonprofit. And that's something I didn't know before working with you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I really love most about working with my clients, is getting to know everybody, right? You're not
Yeah.
lost in the back of a large Zoom classroom. And for goodness sakes, you're not the same as every other teacher. Like everybody has their own passions. Everybody has their own talents. Everybody has a different why.
And I felt like you really understood what teaching was all about. I don't know if that's your experience with working with lots of other teachers but I just really felt like you understood my experience and you were able to translate that so well into how that could work in other areas. So another thing that I found really valuable about working with you, and I didn't know it at the time, but a lot of what my role now involves is helping young people to succeed in a career or prepare for their career, even if they're going to college or going straight into a career out of high school. So much of what I do, like I can draw on my experience and knowledge that I've gained through the process of working with you. So I can pass that along to my students.
Thank you. I know that we had our sessions, we had texting messages back and forth, we had our one-on-one Zoom sessions, you had all those modules, you had all of that. But yeah, it was really understanding and helping you. I don't remember how many interviews was it for this position. It was like, oh, I remember a suggestion. I just remembered. I
Yes,
remembered a suggestion that I had for you to how to win them over. Do you want to talk about that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
yes, I absolutely do. My direct supervisor still has it on her desk. Um, so we, in one of our sessions, when I think I was going in for that final interview, I was going to be interviewed by a board member, who was a retired, very high up in a very, very large aerospace company. So somebody who knows corporate. And on suggestion from you, I walked into that final interview with a 30-60-90 plan, and I just knocked their socks off. And like I said, my supervisor still has it on her desk and is using it as a guideline for keeping me on track of what goals we want to meet in the 30 and 60 and 90 days of my role. Because as I mentioned before, there's a lot of facets to it. So it's kind of being utilized now as like keeping us on track with our goals for the program.
But it was such a fantastic way for you to demonstrate as a transitioning teacher who didn't have direct experience as a project manager in that title, but you certainly had it from all of your work as a teacher. As
Right.
like, hey, this is what I'm going to do for you.
Yes. And it showed that I had that drive and motivation and initiative to take on what is very much can in some ways be a vague role, that I have to kind of
Correct.
mold and make my own.
Correct. So, what would your advice be for any transitioning teachers or anyone looking to make a career pivot? What would your advice be for them?
I think my biggest piece of advice is to not give up. Like the fact that I did not have that linear, like I got out and now I'm in my dream role and it didn't just happen for me like that. I think that's important for teachers to know that it might not be a straight line path. It might not be easy, but all of the things that you do are going to lead you to that confidence and that ability to say, yes, I was a teacher, and yes, this is how this makes me a great candidate for whatever position it is that you're looking to do, or even to find that position. It might not be the same thing every other transitioning teacher is looking at.
For sure, yeah. And you know what? You also can look in multiple directions, right? There is
Yeah,
not just one path that's going to be the right one for you.
that was a big takeaway from our recovery, or not recovery, discovery call. um, when you said that to me, I was like, okay, I have found the right person, because there are so many resources that were pushing me to hone in and focus on just one thing. And that was really limiting me.
I agree 100%. You know, you've been working as a teacher your whole life. How could you choose just one? And what if you can't get a job in just that one because it's too competitive or there's nothing available? And I love that so many of my clients get to be in that position to choose,
Yeah.
where they're applying for jobs in multiple areas and then they get to weigh one against the other.
Right. And you learn a lot about, what the position actually entails when you do finally get into that interview process, because
Correct.
otherwise you're just going by what other people are saying. It really helps you to like do that self-discovery and say, is this what I want?
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I am so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. And I am happy that you are with a company that, by the way, you've worked with this organization, right? Why is this
Yeah.
meaningful to you?
Yeah, that's one thing the president loves to point out. Anytime we have a engagement, she'll always say that, and now I work for JA, but I, as a fourth grader, had JA programming in my classroom. And I still remember my volunteer from that program. It was so impactful. And then when I was going through my teaching certification programming, it was a requirement that all the education students at my college taught one of the JA programs. So I taught JA as a volunteer. And then at my previous school that I worked at, we had a JA in a day, which is where a bunch of volunteers basically take over the school and teach an entire program in one day, in all the different classrooms. And I hosted a JA volunteer that day. So I've kind of, lived the whole cycle of JA at this point.
That is amazing.
Yes.
I am so happy for you. I wish you continued success, and I know that you will achieve it.
Thank you,
Thank you
Cindy.
so much.